Hi, Painting 2. This is a video that's going to help you edit your reference for your complementary color day in the life painting. And it could help you with setting up a grid for other painting references or drawing references in the future. But if you haven't watched the other Photopea editing video, that's okay for this point. We're going to go over some of the things that we went over in that video earlier. So the first thing is you're going to go to photopea.com and then you're going to hit File and New Project. So I named mine Day in the Life. The width and the height is going to be relative to your piece of paper. So if you want your paper to be vertical this way, it is 9 by 12. If you want your image to be horizontal, you want this to be 12 by 9. And just make sure that the width says inches and not pixels, otherwise it's going to be very, very small. And then the last thing you want to make sure is that your DPI or your image resolution is 300 to get the best quality image. So we are going to hit create and your image should come up like this, just with a white plain background, nothing on it. So it gets a little bit tricky at this point, especially depending on where you're getting your photo from. So if you have an iPhone or another smartphone that translates images to the file type HEIC, you might have to export your photo as a JPEG. Or a PNG file, whichever you prefer. If you're having trouble with that, please let me know so I can assist you and edit that, but I'm not going to show that in this part of the video. So I've already exported the photo that I want to use for my day in the life, and it's on my desktop. So I'm going to drag my photo from my desktop and plop it right onto my template. And it should load to fill up the space, which is, again, 9 by 12. You want to hit the little check mark here, and that should set the image onto the background. So one thing that I like to do is just make sure that my image size is correct. It's 9 by 12, 300, everything's okie dokie in here. If you would like to crop it, so this image you're like, nah, I don't really want to paint all the books, or I don't need to paint the bottom of the legs. This little crop tool here will help you crop it to the right size. You just need to make sure that you crop it with a fixed ratio. So you're going to go, it might say free, it might say fixed ratio. The width and the height need to be 9 by 12. And all you're going to do is drag these corners, or drag all of it, or move it around, however you want to line up with the image size that you want for your canvas. So I probably want it like that. Then when you get it, you hit the little check mark there, done. Still should be 9 by 12. So if I go to image size, oh, it is not, liars. Okay, so 9 by 12. You can always go back and change it if you need to. The ratio should be the same, so I shouldn't have too much of it edited or weird or wonky. So this is the image I want to use for my painting. It fits the canvas or the piece of paper that I'm using for my kit. Just a couple other things that you might want to do for this is putting a grid onto your reference, your picture. So you're going to go to View, Show, Grid. And your grid, if you want to keep it simple but also helpful for your painting reference, is a 3 by 4 grid, because the proportion is 3 by 4 if it's 9 by 12. I know it's math and it's numbers, and I hate math and numbers, but you know, you need it. So if your grid is not fitting on here, you will have to go to Edit. Oh no. Where am I looking? I'm sorry. I need preferences. Oh, you guys, I lost it. Pause. All right, so I found it. It's under Edit. And then if you scroll down, I can't see it, Preferences. So you want to make sure that the guides and the grid are both checked. The grid type is square. And then the grid gap is 3 inches, not 3 pixels. If you want a different size grid, you want to make it smaller, bigger, whatever you want to do, just make sure it's a proportion of 9 by 12. So some number that is divided by both, that gives you a whole number. Otherwise, you're going to have a wonky grid. It's not going to make sense. So I already have this set up. My grid matches. And then the last thing that I'm going to do For my benefit, just helping me paint this, is I want to change the color to black and white. There's a lot of different colors in my reference that I don't necessarily need for this complementary color painting. So black and white is going to help me translate my complementary color scheme into highlights, midtones, and shadows. So I'm going to change it to black and white. And I don't mess with these. If you would like to mess with them, you absolutely can. I think I clicked that on accident, but okay. And then if you want to, you can play with this a little bit more to get some good variations of color, dramatic lighting, and that could be brightness and contrast. So image adjustments, brightness and contrast, and this should pop up. So this will change your brightness. I think I want mine to be, a little bit lower than that. And then a higher contrast, some deeper shadows, and you can hit OK. So this should be your reference that you are going to translate to your piece of paper or your canvas. I will show that in a different video, but this is just the editing portion. So you can save this, you can screen cap it, whatever is available for you to keep looking at this. So I hope that that was helpful.